Let's begin Skill 33, Writing Decimals as Fractions. This skill is part of RTI packet number 4, and you will recall that that's going to be due on Friday, January the 16th, and your quiz will be on Tuesday, January the 20th. To write a terminating decimal as a fraction, remember we've talked about terminating decimals. Those are the kind that when you divide them, you get no remainder, and they don't repeat. So to write a terminating decimal as a fraction, we're going to write the digits to the right of the decimal point over a power of 10. The way we determine what the power of 10 will be is by the place value position of the last digit of the decimal. So for example, if the last digit is in the hundredths place, we're going to use 100. If the last digit is in the thousandths place, we're going to use 1000. So remember that we have talked about place value. And we've talked about the fact that this is the hundredths place, hundreds place, tens, ones, tenths, hundredths, and here's the thousandths. So I know this is kind of hard to read. It's a little messy with me writing to the side like that. But that's the order it goes in. We know that the first place to the right of the decimal point is the tenths, the second place is the hundredths, the third place is the thousandths, and so on. So let's take a look at the first example. We're going to write 375 thousandths as a fraction. If you start reading them correctly, it becomes real simple for us to actually write them as a fraction. The first thing you should know is that 375 thousandths is 3/8. That's just one of those that you should memorize, and I'll try to give you a list of those to make it easier on you. So since the last digit 5 is in the thousandths place, we're going to write 375 over 1000, and when you simplify 375 over 1000, you get 3/8. Now, if you remember back, we also talked about repeating decimals and how we can write repeating decimals as fractions using a very difficult method. And I showed you that method way back at the beginning of school when we first started chapter 2, or chapter 1, I'm sorry. So we said that we could go through this whole process, or we could use a shortcut. And most of us have learned that shortcut at this point, that anytime we have a number repeating, such as 0.5 repeating, we take that number and we put it over 9. That's when one place is repeating. Remember, if we have two places repeating, we put it over 99, and then we kind of figured out on our own that if we have 3 places repeating, we'd put it over 999. So if you remember the shortcut, there's no need to go through this whole process if you do remember that. So let's look down at the bottom. Number 1 says 525 thousandths. Remember, if you read it correctly, it becomes real simple to write it as a fraction. So we're going to write 525 over 1000, and then we'll simplify it. And to simplify it, we could divide it by 25, and 25, or 525 over 1000, simplified then by dividing by 25, is going to become 21 over 40. So that's in simplest form. Now, you may not have known to divide by 25, the numerator and the denominator by 25, so you may have divided by 5 and continued to divide until you got it down to its simplest form. Number 2, if I read this correctly, it's 45 hundredths, so I'm going to take 45 over 100 and simplify it. Here I would probably simplify by dividing by 5, and I would get 9 over 20. Now, number 3, we've got 0.333 repeating, which we could also write like this. And remember that we've got a shortcut. We can take that 3 over 9, but then we need to simplify it to 1/3 by dividing both the numerator and the denominator by 3. Let's take a look at number 5. We have 8/10ths. So we'll write 8 over 10, simplify it by dividing by 2, and we get 4/5. Number 6, we have 2 digits repeating. So we have 0.12 repeating, and we said that when that happens, we're going to take those 2 digits and put them over 99. Now, we need to decide if we can simplify this. And I know that we can divide 99 by 3 because 3 is definitely going to go into 99. I can also divide 12 by 3. So if I divide 12 by 3, I get 4. And 99 divided by 3 is 33. So I get 4 over 33. Once you've finished going through these, if you feel comfortable and you don't need to go back and review the video, we'll go ahead and turn to page 66 for the homework. Okay, for your homework for Skill 33 on page 66, I would like for you to do problems 10, 11, 12, and 17. If you've watched the video, these should all four be very simple for you to do. If you're not sure how to do them, please go back and watch the video. Once you finish these 4 problems for homework, you can move on to Skill 34.